Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to No Code 2023. And I'm very happy to invite to the stage two beautiful guys, Sebastian Kurzinovski and Patrick Pianowski, and they will speak about low development cost with low code. Please welcome them.
Hi there. So basically we are here today to talk more about low code. I know, guys, that you are basically from no code world, maybe some of you are developers, and we'd like to introduce you to low code world, how does it look like maybe, and how you can benefit from this.
Our presentation is for the people that are interested in the... It's better? So our presentation is for the people that are business-oriented, but as well for the people that really keen into development and coding.
Yep. So talking shortly about our experience, my name is Patrick. I'm the CEO of Codejet, and basically at the age of 16 I started a software agency, which is still operating actually. And for now it makes around 40K per month. We have about 25 developers on board. And so that I just realized how many problems development has nowadays that like I just started Codejet with my co-founder Sebastian.
And basically I spent last eight years as a freelancer on the fintech. I used to be a software architect. I'm the lecturer on the private bootcamp, so I teach all the web technologies. I also study the business right now. So basically I do anything that is important to build a successful startup, and we'll see how it works.
Yep. And in 5 months, recent 5 months, we developed figma2code converter, and it started about in December 2022 when we started the project. After 5 months, we released the alpha version, which in 1 month gathered 6,000 users and 20 million lines of converted code. As well, we introduced our product on Product Hunt, and we gathered Product of the Week and Product of the Day. So I believe it was quite successful. And so far, we have about 11,000 users, which probably about 1,000 are weekly active. So we started really recently. However, we are making a mess, and yeah.
Okay, can we play that?
Yep. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, let's see that meme because it's very important. We're gonna talk about the process of development. So this is how designers work. I love this kind of people, but basically when you try to do anything on the code side is awful so many times. As you can see from one side, yeah, it's just rainbows and colors, but from the other side we have very difficult task to build anything. Can we rewind this? Restart?
Yeah.
Let's see one more time. So happy flow and happy writing and happy painting on one side, but then difficult coding on the other side.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the main problem here? Basically, when we create anything in Figma, we sometimes don't have necessary knowledge how we should implement this on the code side. There is not so many designers that understand how the web elements looks like, and because of that, they can create some amazing, beautiful stuff, but it's difficult to implement it. So because of this, the implementation of MVP, of web applications, etc., can be very cost ineffective because we need to implement the stuff that probably will work and will be handled for our users, but in the end, we need to spend too much time to implement it. So our goal, not yet, please. So our goal is to standardize development, but on both sides. On the Figma side, so when we create anything in Figma, it should be standardized as well, but then we need to have the complement design system on the code side with the code that we are sure about, and we can create the blocks on the design side, and then we can convert that to the HTML and CSS and any other code that we need. But we need standardization on both sides. I understand that when you are a designer, for example, I'm the coder, so basically we have similar ideas. We want to create stuff and it has to be beautiful and it has to be fancy. I understand that. But in the end, we are doing work to earn money, and we can earn a lot of money only in case when the projects that we work on are successful. And we cannot do any successful project if we spend too much time on creation and design and not enough time for checking our ideas on the market and checking how our customers will respond to our innovation ideas. So let's build a house. As you can see that people can solve the repeatable problems in not repeatable ways. Let's say 50 years ago, when we tried to build a roof for the house, we had to assemble the team, and the team will step by step put all the parts and use the nails, hammers, and build the roof day by day. But after a while, we realized that, okay, basically all the roofs are quite similar. So we can standardize that. So we can understand that when someone will say that I need this angle of roof and this high and it should be on this kind of square, we can prepare that in the factory and then ship on the truck and then put on the house, and we can save the money because we don't need to assemble step by step everything on the house. So let's think about this as the standardization idea and the standardization approach that we can also achieve when creating our web applications. As you can see, it's not only a roofs, but as well we can assemble the walls in the factory, and we can send these walls as well to the place where you want to build a house. Thanks to that, instead of building a house for, let's say, 1 or 2 years, we can assemble the house in 3 or 2 months. And the people can start living there. Of course, it's not like we can adjust every part of it, but in the end, we have a house where we can live. So I guess in most cases, this is the goal. We need a place to live, as well as we need to application for gathering data from user. We need to allow for our users to manipulate the data, or we need to send or show some data for the user. There is no more scenarios when we create any web applications. To interact with our users on the application, we can use forms, and that's all the way that we can do any interactions with our users. So basically, when we can see the big numbers of application, we can find the repeatable parts, as well as the people that are responsible for building house realize that they can create the prefabricated parts and they can ship them to our clients. So the main problem that we can see every day is that coders spend a lot of time on front-end development, and in the end, we want to have everything agile. Let's say we want to respond for business requirements that can change day by day because the law has changed, because our client has changed his model of business. There is a lot of reasons why our designs, why our plans can change every day. That's why, for example, in Codejet, we follow the methodology for lean startup. We have no longer than 5 days sprints, because we understand our long-term vision, but we want to be agile and we want to respond for any changes week by week. So that's why we realized that we need to provide the tool that can give you this power to change the requirements very fast, change the code without spending too much time on it.
Yeah, so for instance, on case of my software agency, because as I've said for people which hasn't been before, I led before a software agency. Firstly, UI designer had to design how the app should look like. Then obviously the client has some changes, and it was like multiple number of iterations, which just took us a lot of time. Afterwards, when we had UI ready, then we should go to front-end developers, which translated each component, each element from Figma to code. And it took an enormous number of time, which it was just ineffective, in my opinion. After this, the backend was integrated. Obviously, it also took some time, and then app could be checked and basically launched. This process obviously had many iterations inside, and our clients was really worried about the time as well as we. And we just thought that it can't be like this. It has to be optimized.
Yeah, the common challenge is we need to standardize everything. As I said before, I will tell the same sentence so many times. We sometimes hesitate to standardize things, but we forget about it when we get to the hospital and someone needs to help for us very fast. They have everything standardized. Why? Because what? Basically, every case with our health is different, and every emergency situation is different. But in the end, they are operating on the same input, and they create some standards to basically help us faster. So the same idea is here. We need to standardize our development for both sides. When I created this slide at the beginning, I had different input for the development part and for the design part. But in the end, I realized these parts are quite similar. The challenges that we saw when working with our B2B clients was that, let's say, there was a design system in the company. But then when we checked the designs didn't use the design system. And then the other scenario, we had the design system, and we had the design system with components, but then there was no components in design. So basically another problem. Let's say, let's investigate this issue, because when we have our design and we have components there, and then we don't use these components in the design, basically we have two sources of truth. Because what's the source of truth for us? Where should I search for the information about the component and about the design itself? What's the impact of changing anything in the design system, in the component? How it will impact my designs? Basically, if there is no connection between design system and components and my designs, I will have these problems that basically whenever I will create some various instance of the component and I will change it in the design, but it will be the old version in the design system, I will have basically the big history of different various components in designs that doesn't reflect any information on the design system. And this is a bad approach, because then when we want to change anything in our designs, we need to jump to our designs and search every usage of our component and make sure that it was this kind of component and it looks the same. That's why Figma was designed to provide for us the components and design system. And thanks to that, we can take our components and we should change the components where when they are stored, not in all the designs. Because of thanks to that, if we care about the design system and only about the design system, then we will have one source of truth. It's very important from perspective of handling and changing a lot of designs very fast. Because I understand that when you design something, probably you don't have any coding experience, and in most cases you are most focused on creativity and the parts that are totally different than the developer, because basically it's like you are this other kind of people, and that's great because we can communicate and create together amazing stuff. But in the end, when we want to ship something very fast, we need to be focused on that. There are the same repeated tasks that we need to create. There are the same kind of components we will use in the same basically designs. So there is a lot of similarity that we hesitate to see. And the coders do the same basically. I also always, whenever I have new challenge, I see like, hey, I never done this before, and I want to have totally new approach, and that's fine, and that's it's fun to be creative. But in the end, when you do 100 pages or 100 application, you can see that, yeah, basically you just repeat the same mistake. You forgot about standardization, you forgot about that. You can improve the stuff, and you can have better and better set of blocks, no matter if it's a development area. So when I create a new systems, I know that, okay, I should follow the same rules, I should follow the same semantics, I should create my own components, because these components of application, like user can log in and log out, are basically in all the application when I have the user. The roles for the user are quite similar everywhere, only the scope of the privileges will change. So what is important here, we have on both sides, we have repeatable parts, we have blocks that we can create, and we can use these blocks, we can care about quality of these blocks, and thanks to that we can create and ship very fast, very good applications.
Yep, okay, so basically in Codejet we tried to solve this issue in the way that you only need to paste the specific Figma, link to a specific Figma screen to Codejet, and then we generate you code which is really useful. We can then connect to it backend, and then the app is checked and launched. That's the first step. So you have to, using our components library, design your component. And as you can see here, you can style it as you want. Here's our library, and then you style it.
Yeah,
yep.
Our goal here was to provide for the Figma users the elements that are the same, that are equivalent of HTML. So basically, honestly, at the beginning, we didn't care about fancy elements from, let's say, Material UI that were created, because most of them don't follow any accessibility rules. So for us, it was more important to give for you as the designers the code, that the elements in the Figma that is the really accessible and true HTML that every browser will understand. Because in the end, under the hood, all the applications, all the fancy libraries, they need to create the same HTML.
Afterwards, when you have done your design, you just, as I've said, need to copy a link to the specific screen. It's really important. It needs to be to a specific screen. You paste it to Codejet, and then you can download the code. For now, we provide the HTML code and React.js code. So you can use both in some landing pages, some web applications, whatever you basically want. Since last few months, we generated about 40 million lines of code for our users. And the last step is obviously to download the code and move to your project in React.js, or just open HTML. And as you can see, here is the ready screen of the application. And that's basically it.
Yeah, it seems like we create some boundaries for the design system, but the same boundaries we create also for the development process. Because Yeah, we want to power use the Figma on the one side, and on the other side we want to power use the storybook and power use this standardized approach that we can create elements once and then we can use these elements across all the applications.
Yeah, and what's important here is that, as we told before, in order to have responsive designs, you need to use auto layout in Figma. So there is still a limitation. Still you have use auto layout. We developed a plugin for Figma which can advise you where should you use auto layouts and where should you use our components. However, there is still a little bit more job for designer, which then helps developer develop faster. So you spend a little more time as a designer in order to have a shorter development time. And that's basically our philosophy. And you may ask, why business people choose us or choose low-code at all? And I believe it's because you have a bit more activities which you have done, such as, for instance, you have to learn the tool. You have to prepare design for the tool. However, it's still a really huge optimization. Yeah. So you have components on the side which you don't have to code. You have everything put in the right way. And I think and I believe that that's the thing which users love so much in our tool and in low-code. And obviously, the most important thing is that you can generate the code, you can download this, and IP, so that all rights to this code are yours.
Yeah, because what is important, building an application is not about the building, but it's about an application. So one more time, we care about create something faster to release this faster on the market, and then check how it works with the market, and then apply the changes to the product, and then release the new version.
Yeah, that's right. So you may ask, guys, about is low-code really for me? I'm really curious how much of you are developers, designers, and no-code developers. Can you raise hand if you are designers? Okay, great. Developers? Great. No-code developers. Okay, so we have a really big mix here. Our tool is used by mostly developers, actually, so for you guys, as well for designers. So you can use both as a developers or designers our tool, and basically low-code. You can build, as you can see from the stats here, you can build static webs, applications, and basically everything. Designers mostly use our tool to build prototypes, for instance, and at the same time developers probably to accelerate their development time, such as, for instance, web applications, simple screens, and all of those stuff. So we recommend you to try Codejet and try low-code at all. I believe that there's a really huge space for low-code in the market, and not all of you I believe will use no-code in the future. You just need the code, and the code will be still there. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, what's important here is more than 10,000 people filled our forms. So this is a really big data for us, of course. And it's quite valuable form. It's quite valuable results.
Yep. So being specific, Codejet for now targets 3 groups of users. The first one are obviously builders, so I believe most of you guys, maybe. The other one are professionals, and the third one are enterprises. Builders use our tool in order to prepare landing pages, to prepare maybe short showcases, prototypes of what you designed, for instance. Professionals are rather part of the teams, development teams, maybe in some software agencies. You can use our tool to in some way hack the system, as for instance with ChatGPT. So you can just ask designers to, or yourself, design in a way which will be easy to convert, then you convert this and you have code faster. And the third group are enterprises, so software agencies, larger teams, and for enterprises, we would rather, let's say, ask you as an enterprise to come to us, and we will in some way tailor our tool to your use case, because every software agency is different. For builders and professionals, we have a tool which you can see at our landing page. You can just register, log in, and use our tool freely. Basically, that's how it works. You may also ask, because we are only 2 months on the market, actually 2.5, something like this, what our users used before. We also have those stats, and basically, as you can see here, there is very large group of Anima users. Have you used Anima, guys, or do you know Anima? Can you raise hands? Okay. So basically, Anima is also figma2code converter, as well as, for instance, the Highwise. Those tools, I believe, are tailored for landing pages. We tailor ourselves for bigger solutions, for app development. There are, for instance, on the market tools like Builder.io or Teleport HQ, which are also quite useful. Also, for no-code developers, you don't have to use the code. They have their own no-code environment. However, they have troubles with generating a code somewhere. So I believe that's where we see our spot on the market, which is for now quite huge. If you are a business, on the business side, the low-code market in 2023 was something about $28 billion, and it grows each year 25%, something like this, according to Gartner data. So I believe that for now we are in the spot where all tools, all local tools, are in the development. They develop, and I believe you guys have to catch this, let's say, point, and try to use those tools in order to be ready for other implementations and just work faster.
And why should you consider implementing low-code in your organization? Basically, low-code helped us a lot reducing the cost of MVP. Because in the past, when I wanted to have the database in my MVP, I had to hire someone that will be responsible for maintaining the database. But not today. Building this MVP, I decided to use Airtable. And that was amazing when my tester from the team, that is 20 years old student, simply helped for us checking the quality of our application. He was able to create the business processes without any knowledge about coding. He was able to create the backups of database. He was able to change our data schemas. So there was a lot of things that he was able to because it was low-code solution. After 10 months of developing our product, we didn't have to pay 10 salaries for the backend developer, and in most cases, the backend developers that are responsible for database are not the cheapest specialists on the market. Much cheaper are the students that simply needs to find the extra work and they understand what they do, and they simply follow the rules and they say when something is wrong. So for us, using Airtable was very good solution because we reduced the cost of our MVP for once, and what was also important that any solution that any business process that was created by any automation in Airtable was easy to maintain, was easy to shut off, was easy to extend, was easy to explain to other team members. So there was a lot of advantages because we decided to use this solution as Airtable here. So thanks to that, we were able to deploy our alpha faster and cheaper. And what other stuff you can, how it also can help you with your MVP or any other business that you want to create. Basically, when you are searching for a specialist right now, the coders, they are quite expensive specialists because they had to spend a lot of time learning the stuff that they know right now. They had to spend a lot of time on coding the difficult things, and they have quite high expectations about the salary and the place when they work. but the low code have quite lower bars, so it's easier to start working in the low code. You don't need to have that much experience. There's lots of stuff explained by graphics, and you can adjust the blocks. It's much easier than sitting and understanding how you can reduce RAM usage or CPU usage by changing the words in the text file. Because basically this is the coding. We're just writing the text files that in the end will be understood by the computers, and the computers will follow these rules. But there is a lot of places when we can make mistakes, and no-code or low-code solution prevent that. So that's why basically low-code help for us to reduce and ship faster our applications.
Yep. So the last few slides are about our present developments, about where we are as a Codejet. In December 2022, we closed pre-seed round and started development of Codejet. Then in May 2023, we were ready to, in some way, release our tool, publish the alpha, and so that's something like 2 months later, we had about 6,000-7,000 users. Now we have 11,000 users, so we are looking for seed round, we are looking for employing sales board, and basically it was so fast, the development of our tools was so fast, and I believe that was mainly because no-code and low-code solutions.
Of course, and still we have really small team, what is great, because there is Błażej, for example, our front-end lead, and we have one more front-end developer, one developer and one tester. So basically very small team, but we managed to ship in 4 months our alpha, and then we are able to create the second version of our product in just 3 weeks of work of one man. So all these things just happened because we use low-code solutions, and we have great people that are really dedicated to the stuff that they do.
Yeah, so for now we have Figma plugin, HTML converter from Figma, React converter from Figma, and we are also looking to develop WordPress, Vue, and other stuff in the next quarters, next months. So just stay tuned. Here is a code for 70% off for lifetime plan, only for you guys till the end of the week. And basically, I think that's it.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas or any problems that occur during your work and you want to discuss that, we are happy to do it. I'm the CTO there, so I'm happy to aggregate all the ideas, and I want to solve the problem that you have during your work, because this is how our tool will be better, and I'm really happy when our tool can help for you in your daily basis work.
Yep, that's right. Do you have guys any questions maybe? Maybe?
1, 2, 1, 2. Mike. Mike.
Hello, my name is Victor. You didn't mention where and how you use AI in your app, whether it's in the Figma plugin or in the Converter app.
That's a very good question, thank you. Basically, right now we have deterministic algorithms, so we don't use right now AI. But since day one, we started to develop AI model, and we are developing AI model, but it's not ready yet to be implemented in our product. But we are going to recognize the elements from Figma, and we are going to extract extra data using AI model that we started to work on it 10 months ago. So.
One, two, 1, 2.
Yes, my name is Bradley. I have a question. When you copy the link of Figma and paste it into your website, does it also mean that it will generate the JavaScript, or do you need to make it from scratch?
Sorry?
So when you generate the website with the link, and it will become HTML, but is it also possible that it will generate in JavaScript, or do you have to make it from very scratch?
Okay, basically you can right now we have two solutions. The first one is React. So in React you have basically HTML and CSS and JS, of course. And the second one is right now HTML and CSS, but right now we are working on introducing as well the JavaScript to these components to HTML and CSS. Like, let's say right now we are adding the stuff like accordions and all the things that people usually use in the landing pages. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. See you soon. We have next speech at 11:15, I believe.